So I just played My Little Scythe, and hello and welcome to Lord of the Board. My name is Sam Smith, and today we are going to be doing kind of a review format of My Little Scythe. Now, this is kind of experimental. This is something I have not done before, but it's something I've been wanting to do with more games this year, is just kind of give you guys my initial impressions of a game after playing a couple of times. I'm going to go ahead and start with My Little Scythe because, one, this game's kind of just not being talked about, or at least it has been talked about, but I just want to share with you guys that I wanted to try it, I got it, and now here's my video on it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Now I am going to start off by talking about my initial experience when opening the box. First thing I have to say is the art. I'm initially thinking, wow, this looks like My Little Pony, but Scythe characters. If you don't know what Scythe is, it was kind of an alternate war steampunky reality with a much grimmer tone board game that this was kind of based off of. And as I'm looking at this box, I'm thinking, wow, super cute. As I open the box, I realize, oh my gosh, these components are actually really good, which surprised me. It surprised me a lot, actually. I wasn't expecting these components to be such high quality, and as I'm removing pieces from the box, I noticed that there is a game tray with all of these gorgeous miniatures. And honestly, these miniatures, I'm going to spend some extra time shooting some B-roll shots of them for you because they are so gorgeous. Shh, don't tell anybody, but I might honestly be using these instead of the miniatures that come with the regular Scythe. But who knows, I might not actually do that. And as I'm looking through these, I am in awe of the art direction, the characters, the molds, the pieces, all of the game's colors. It looks just so cheery and beautiful, and this had already really made a good first impression on me. Now, as I'm taking out the board, I'm laying it on the table, and this board is huge, and I don't know why it seems so big, and maybe I should have expected it to be this big, but for me it just seemed really large, almost too large. These hexes were ginormous, and that was kind of a little bit of a weird maybe turn off. I don't know. I don't like how big the board is. I feel like it could have been shrunk down, but at the same time, can I really complain? Because I really liked how big the miniatures were. I mean, their bases are about the size of a quarter, and they're such good quality. So I'm not sure if there was really a way to fix this, but I just don't like how big the board is. It was kind of freaking me out. And so we kind of start the game, we're putting together everything, I'm reading the rule book, and my initial impressions were that this was a game for kids, right? And I'm thinking, man, this is actually kind of a lot of rules. So this might not be like the first game for kids. Maybe this is kind of the next step game for kids. At least that's what I'm thinking in my head as I'm kind of getting an idea of how the game plays. Now, I have a huge benefit of having played many games in my time, and also really liking the game Scythe. So for me, I was able to compare a lot of these rules with rules that were from Scythe. So I truly don't have the opinion of somebody that has never played Scythe before. Therefore, I'm not sure how hard these rules are to actually learn. For me, it did seem easy, but I could definitely see some stumbling blocks for some people kind of new to gaming, wanting to grab a family game. Now, moving on from there, we were starting to kind of play the game, and I'm getting some ideas about how I feel about it. At first, I remember feeling like this was kind of seeming a little repetitive as I was moving across this board, trying to place these apples and place these gems closer to my player and further away from my opponent, my wife. And as we're playing it, it first seemed a little bit repetitive, but as time went on, it seemed less and less repetitive, and soon my brain started sprawling with ideas of strategy and ways to outwit my wife at this game that looks like it's from My Little Pony, and I am getting invested and thrilled with the pick up and deliver mechanics of the game, where I am trying to collect these apples, but at the same time I'm trying to make sure that my friendship tracker doesn't drop too low, otherwise I won't be able to actually get any trophies. I really enjoy the 4 trophy system in this game, and I like how you can't collect a trophy the same way twice. I love that. It encourages players to try new things. And I found that as we were playing the game, we were gaining trophies very differently. I mean, my wife was focusing a lot more on the picking up and delivering of the goods, and I was focusing a lot on the magic cards. I wanted to start a pie fight. I wanted to fight my wife at one particular moment and ensure that she has to shoot back to her homeland and ruin her whole plan. And there was one point in the game I remember, very significant point in the game. It was just before the very end, where I was able to use a portal, jump to her hex, and attack her and move her back to the spot, and she did not expect me to do it, and I had been planning the whole pretty much end game on this play here, and it disrupted her whole plans. And even with that pie fight that mattered so much to me and ruined her so bad, I didn't end up winning. And it was because I definitely didn't play my cards right. I wasn't playing to my full potential. My wife was. She was focusing more on herself. I was focusing more on her. And that different dynamic really didn't work for me, particularly in the game. See, one thing that I really like to do in games is I like to focus on what other players are doing and see how I could potentially disrupt them. You can't really disrupt too many times in this game, otherwise your friendship tracker is just going to go down and then you can't collect any trophies at all. But my wife, she's really good at focusing on finding these engines, these little mini engines in the game, and abusing them until she is able to make them work and win. And her engines were just so much better than mine before I could stop her with my frivolous attempts at pie fights with these adorable little animals in this beautiful Kingdom of Pomme. So what I'm trying to say is this game left a really good first experience, and the build up to the game was extremely fun. At first kind of feeling a little bit samey, but then really changing as I figured out everything and all of the potential really that existed within this game. And I think after our first play, we looked at each other and were like, wow, this is actually substantially fun. For being something that is spoken to be a kid's game, I enjoyed my experience a ton with it. I could see this game being a next up children's game, you know, after they've played maybe Catan Jr. or something else a little simpler. This would be a really good game to kind of get them into, as long as they have maybe an adult there as well to help teach the game. But I enjoyed it and my wife enjoyed it, and we're adults, so I would almost say that this is a good game to teach people to play and then see if they desire for more of that kind of feeling, and then maybe introduce a scythe. I think side to side, this game stands on its own as a adorable experience filled with adorable critters and has a lot of different mechanics going around. Whether you're going to get trophies, upgrading your tiles, pursuing magic, going up the friendship tracker, or picking up and delivering resources to Castle Everfree. This game has a lot of different ways to make a lot of different things work, and I appreciate that. I think that Hobie and Vienna, the designers of this game, did an excellent job at taking the essence of another great game, Scythe, and really tuning it down a bit for a more wider audience. Now, that was my first impression of this game. That was what I felt when playing it. But what did you feel? definitely leave a comment down below as to what your thoughts are on this game. Have you played it yet? Have you not played it yet? Are you going to try it out? Do you have any plans to? I would love to hear all of those answers to all of those questions and more down in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video today, please, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel as well as like this video. If you liked this weird kind of talking monologue format for just explaining my experience playing a game, let me know and tell me if you liked it. But with that, that is it for the video. Let's go ahead and drop the beat.